Hello, friend. This is Ryan Hicks at TaughtToProfit.com. Today I want to talk to you about observing and being the observer. Today I had jury duty, and so this is, depending on where you are in the world, basically jury duty is every citizen is required to serve jury duty. There's some exemptions, but they're pretty rare. Basically, you must go, and oftentimes what happens is they call 5 times more people than they really need to serve as jurors. And the times I've went, I've always got dismissed early, or the groups got together that they're going to have a trial over and settled it before the actual trial, so no juror was actually needed. So this is a group of random citizens, or supposed to be random, that are called together to serve as jurors. Now the thing is, you have a complete variety of people from all over the place, all kinds of different jobs and social status and wealth levels. And when you're in one of these kind of environments, you can sit back and observe. There are people who are loud and boisterous, so you can't miss what they're saying and what they're talking about. And you'll see people complaining about, I was there. There are people complaining, well, why are we here? Why are they making us wait? And all this stuff. And I'm looking around and just observing. And this is something you should try. Because sometimes when you observe what other people are doing, you could see within yourself, oh, wait, I do that too. Because it's hard sometimes because you're just going through life and you're doing things in a pre-programmed way so often that you don't really see what you're doing. But when you see it in someone else, it can pull out of you that realization that, okay, that's something I don't want to be doing. I don't want to look like that. Not that you're doing it obviously for other people, but that you want to make sure that you're continuing to grow and better yourself each and every day. But one of the things that I noticed, and I've noticed this from way early on when I was a teenager and I was a security officer at a company, and I would bring books in, learning Greek and Hebrew and all these different things, and I was studying because I had to sit there and do nothing for 8 hours at a time or more. But my fellow security officers would come in and they wouldn't have a book. They'd have nothing to do except sit there for 8 hours. Maybe they would talk on the phone, but they would get nothing accomplished. And I always wondered, why is that? Why are people not? And I would look and see and say, okay, I want to make sure that I'm constantly growing. Everyone else is doing this non-growth thing. That if they do bring anything in because they got 8 hours to sit there and do nothing, it's for entertainment. They bring a little television, they're watching that, or watch something on the computer. No one's bettering themselves. And that was consistent. Never ever did I meet anyone that ever brought in a book or something to learn and grow and better themselves. And so, observing and seeing, there's a room of about 50 or 60 people in this courtroom sitting here waiting for jury duty, and people are just talking to one another, some of them very loudly, and complaining, looking at their phone. You can just, look around, you see people on Facebook and various social media, and it was just interesting to observe some of the patterns. And one of the things I observed, which is something I've seen for many, many years now, is that how quickly people are to revert to entertainment and wasting time, quote unquote, killing time instead of being productive. I was there, I was getting business accomplished. I was listening to affirmations, my book, 600 Wealth, Prosperity, and Abundance Affirmations. I was literally listening to that in the courtroom while everyone else is talking with one another about why they don't like to be there. And some people, they engage me and like, well, this isn't bad. I'm getting stuff done while I'm sitting here. Well, I should be at work and this and that. Okay. They want to complain. I want to be productive. I want to have something accomplished and have a positive mental attitude about it. I wasn't worried about it. It wasn't bothering me. And so then they moved on to other people who they could commiserate with about their complaints about being here and the inconvenience of doing this jury duty, which they ended up not having to do. We just had to sit there and wait, and we didn't have to do anything. But this is one of the things that keeps people from success in life. That you can observe this yourself. Look around. Just observe what people do. And people will volunteer this. They'll talk about apps they use for killing time, binge watching television shows, killing time, video games they play 8 hours a day or however long a day, that just killing time. They will volunteer all the unproductive, useless endeavors that they voluntarily submit themselves to in order to just get to another day. But you're not here to just get to another day. You're here in this glorious, abundant universe to overflow God's abundance and to be successful, productive, useful, prosperous. And you absolutely can be. And so I want to encourage you today to observe. Now, I have to stress again, this is not to pass judgment on other people and go, well, I'm better than that and I'm better than that. It's to just look around and see because you might find, and oftentimes you will, but this is the purpose of it, you might find within some of these people, some of the things you're observing that are not the most ideal for living an abundant life. You might see something within yourself that you're doing too. Maybe at a lesser level, but you might be doing that as well. And that's the purpose of doing this, is to draw out of you something that you may see someone else doing and improve yourself. You can't go around criticizing other people and telling them they need to change this and that, because here's the thing. Even if you thought that would be helpful, the reality is it won't. All that does is people instantly become defensive, and whatever it is you might have, it might be useful advice for them, they're going to shut down and not have anything to do with it. Even if they might be nice about it and pretend like they took your valuable message, they're not going to listen to it. This is not about critiquing other people and challenging them and making them changes. They need to change. They need to do this right and that right. This is about you changing yourself and you observing and seeing, and maybe in other people and the more obvious things they're doing, you can find within yourself areas you need to change. So you have to go into it with that mentality. You're not going to judge and challenge these people and critique them and pat yourself on the back for how great you are because you're not doing these things, because you might find that you're doing some of these things. Now, hopefully you're not, and that's great. But you can always learn lessons. You can always see within some of these things, there's a lesson to be learned. For example, if you're in that jury duty, well, maybe you're not complaining, but maybe you're also not doing anything productive. You haven't chosen to redeem the time. You've chosen just to sit there and wait. And I'll add, if you're not accustomed to jury duty, they tell you in advance you may have to wait for long periods of time. And they tell you to bring a book or something. So you know in advance going in that there may be long periods of time you're going to be doing nothing, and you could bring something to do to be productive. And so you can observe from this room that the overwhelming majority didn't do that. They were just planning on sitting there. But this is something I've observed since I was a teenager, that given options, the majority will just sit there and do nothing or be entertained. And this is something you got to draw out of yourself and make sure, are you redeeming the time? Are you choosing to take your time and use it in the most valuable manner? Or are you doing these entertainment things? Because you can observe this all around you. This isn't something that's just going on in my area. This is going on everywhere. But here's the question, is it going on in your heart as well? Sometimes, like I said, if you're observing other people, you can see something clearly that maybe is hard for you to see within yourself. And you start examining yourself and you see, wait, I do that myself. I need to make some changes. Now, hopefully you don't, but this is beneficial, because if a group of people, a large group of people, 50 or 60 people, the majority are doing nothing to improve themselves, sitting around waiting for the time to go by, waiting to get told, yes, you're going to be here longer, or no, you're going to go home. Probably there's a good chance, obviously this isn't the scientific statistics, but there's a good chance that someone watching this video right now is in that majority who isn't productive. When they have time that they call free time, they're instead of doing something productive and redeeming the time, they're wasting it. And that's just one thing you can observe. There's all kinds of other lessons you can garner out of life, you can glean from life, if you'll be an observer, if you'll look around and just see what is the common mode of behavior of the masses. Because whatever they're doing is probably not what would be leading you to success. And so it's good to challenge some of these ideas, because people are going in common patterns, not even thinking about them. It's just something that they're observed in early childhood and they're doing now as a subconscious pattern, and it never gets challenged or changed. But if you want to be great and be a success in this life and bring God glory through your great productivity and your great abundance coming from Him as your source, you're going to have to be able to observe these things and change them within yourself. Because I get people regularly who will say, well, I didn't know I was doing this, or it's so hard to really whittle down to the root issue in my life. Well, maybe this could be a way to do it, because you have blinders on to your own behavior, and sometimes you just literally can't see the behavior you're doing and the error it's causing in your life. And this might be a way of doing it, by being the observer and observing what's going on around you, and then taking lessons from that and drawing out of that and seeing, am I doing those things myself? Because then it might be more of a revelation that, oh, I am doing that. I need to make those changes. So my friend, today I pray this was a blessing for you, and I pray that you'll try this out. Do this in the spirit of love. You're not challenging these people. You're not judging them and patting yourself on the back saying you're better than them. You're not comparing yourself with them. That's not what this is about. This is about drawing out of you improvements, and doing this by observing and seeing things that might challenge you that you're seeing and observing in other people. My friend, I pray this is a blessing for you. May God bless you richly. Now, if you made it this far in the video, other people may have already turned it off, but I wanted to add a little thing in the end that's only for people who continue to watch. And it's this. You may ask yourself, well, I'm observing people, but how do I know what I'm observing is correct? See, this is the point of it. You're not passing judgment. You're not critiquing these individuals. You're trying to draw something out of you. And this is the key. What you're observing, what you think you're observing, it may not even be correct. You might see people on Facebook, maybe they're doing something for business. You don't know. But what you see or believe you're seeing from this is drawing out of you the things you need to change yourself. So you might be projecting onto these individuals things that aren't really going on. Your observations may be inaccurate as far as their real situation, but that's not the point of this. The point of this is for you to draw out of yourself those things you can improve and increase your skill and ability and productivity in. So I thank you for watching this long in the video, and I hope this has been a blessing for you. May God bless you richly.